Hi! Hello everyone! It's me again, Mariel, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, ayun na nga, pasensya na kayo kasi hindi tayo nakakapag-update dito sa ating YouTube channel. Sobrang naging busy lang tayo this past few weeks. And ito na nga, meron naman tayong bagong tutorials for this video. Ayan. So, kung bago ka pa lang sa aking YouTube channel, please huwag mo muna kalimutang i-subscribe, i-like itong video, and syempre, i-hit mo na din yung notification bell down below para naman palagi kang updated sa ating mga bagong tutorials. Ayan. So, without further ado, let's go to the discussion. So, ayun na nga, for this video is we are going to discuss all about the direct variation and the inverse variation. So, meron tayong 4 kinds of variation. Ayan. So, direct, inverse, joint, and combined variations. Ayan. Pero in this video, we are gonna focus on direct variation and inverse variation. Kasi kapag alam mo na tong dalawang to, for sure, mas madali na din sa'yong gawin si joint variation and combined variation. Ayan. So, syempre, first, si direct variation. When we say direct variation, ang ibig sabihin nito is when two quantities are increasing at the same time. Or kapag yung dalawang bagay is parehas nag-i-increase. Ayan. Yan yung sinasabi nating direct variation. Like for example, in real life situation, kapag bibili ka ng something, yung mga stuffs, right? Groceries, bigas, ganyan. Kapag bibili ka nun, di ba, sa pagdami ng bibilhin mo, sa pagmahal ng presyo. And yun yung isa sa best example of direct variation. Sa trabaho, sa pagdami ng oras na tinatrabaho mo, sa paglaki ng sweldo. Ayan. So, those are the examples of direct variation when two quantities are increasing at the same time. So, in direct variation, meron tayong formula which is y is equal to kx. Okay? Or y varies directly as x. Parang ganun mo siya babasahin. Wherein k is the constant variation or the constant of proportionality. Okay? So, this lesson pala is for grade 9. Ayan. So, yun na nga, ito na yung susundan nating pinaka-formula ni direct variation. Y is equal to kx. Tandaan, si k is the constant of variation or constant of proportionality. Okay? So, next naman is si inverse variation. Ano ba kapag sinabing inverse variation? Yung inverse variation naman, kapag yung isang quantity ay umaangat or umi-increase, ang isa namang quantity is bumababa. Okay? Paangat, pababa, or pataas, pababa. Ganun yung sinasabi ni inverse variation. Like for example, sa time and travel. So, this is for inverse variation as a best example, no? So, time and travel. Like for example, you are going to drive faster or mabilis kang mag-drive ng sasakyan, ng motor, ng kahit anong sasakyan. Eh, di ba pag bawas ng oras ng pagdating mo doon. So, yun yung pinaka-best example ng inverse variation. The faster you drive, the shorter the time na makakarating ka sa paroroonan mo. Okay? Or the faster you walk, the shorter the time na mararating mo yung school. Diba? Like, yan yung mga example ng inverse variation. And, sa inverse variation nga, we are going to use the formula y is equal to k over x, where k is the constant of variation. O, palagi nating tandaan na si k, mapadirect man yan or inverse, ang tawag sa kanya is constant of variation. So, sa mga examples natin, if y varies inversely as x, okay, so ganun mo siya babasahin. Y varies inversely as x. Dito naman, y varies directly as x. Okay? So, ganun lang kasimple ang direct and inverse variation. So, yun na nga, ibinigay ko lang sa inyo ang meaning. Ipagpatuloy mo tong video na to and magbibigay ako ng more examples about direct and inverse variation. Alright? So, for our first example in direct variation, alam nyo, madali lang to. Sundan nyo lang yung mga steps na ibibigay ko. Alright? So, we have number 1. If y varies directly, so meaning to say direct variation yan, from the word itself directly. Alright? Meron kasi pag pinagsama na yung direct variation tsaka inverse variation sa given, during exam or during learning task, nalilito na yung mga students. Alin bang formula yung gagamitin, no? So, palagi nyo lang mag-stick sa mga pattern. Like, for example, ayan, varies directly. Therefore, it is direct variation. And, by that, ang gagamitin ng nating formula is y is equal to kx. Tama? Okay. Again, if y varies directly as x, and y is equal to 16 when x is equal to 8. Ayan, si y daw ay equal to 16 kapag si x ay equal to 8. Ngayon, find y when x is equal to 16. Alright? So, medyo nakakalito kasi madaming numbers, pero isa-isahin natin. Ayan, pagtulungan natin. Alright? So, ngayon nga is gagamitin natin si y is equal to kx. Y varies directly as x. Okay? So, the first step is to find the constant variation or to find k. Okay? Hanapin natin si k. So, we have y. Ano bang value ni y? Etong 16. So, wag muna nating pakialaman si find y when x is equal to 16. Unahin natin ito kasi dito natin mahanap si k. Okay? Sana all mahanap si k. Char. So, y is equal to 16. Ayan. Substitute the value lang tayo palagi. Alright? Is equal to k. And then, ang ating x is equal to 8. Bakit k lang yon? Wala naman kasing given na k. Kasi nga, siya yung hahanapin natin. Tama? Okay. And then, right after that, dahil nga i-eliminate natin si 8, dito, kasi si k lang naman yung hinahanap natin, may kasama siyang 8. So, eliminate natin yan by dividing both sides by 8. Bakit kay 8? Kasi si 8 yung itatanggalin natin, no? And then, do the cancellation. Cancel na yan. And then, syempre, natila na lang si k, tama? And yun yung hahanapin natin. Then, right after that, i-divide mo lang yan. 16 divided by 8 is equal to 2. Ayan na, yung ating k. Okay? For the second step, you are just going to create the equation using the formula pa rin. Gamitin natin yung formula to create the equation. Okay? So, we have y is equal to, ano ba si k na nakuha natin? 2. Tama? Si k is 2. Ayan na yung equation natin. Y is equal to 2x. Hindi na natin pwedeng gamitin si 16 tsaka si 8. Okay? Kasi nagamit na natin siya sa pagkuha ng k. Alright? Ngayon, dito naman tayo magfo-focus kay find y when x is equal to 16. Alright? So, gamit yung equation na nakuha natin from the first step, ayan na, yun na yung gagamitin natin ngayon. So, syempre, dahil nga hanapin natin si y, ibaba mo lang si y. Okay? And then, since 2 ang ating constant, ibaba lang natin. Constant of variation, rather. And then, ano ba daw si x? Si x ay 16. Therefore, kapag magkatabi yan, therefore, it is multiplication. Tama? So, we have 2 times 16. Okay? So, y is equal to 16 times 2 is equal to 32. Yan. Therefore, ayan na yung y natin. Nakuha na natin si y as 32. Okay? So, balikan natin yung example, no? Sabi dito, kapag daw si y ay 16, si x ay 8. Tama? And kapag naman si x ay 16, syempre si y is equal to 32. Paano natin mapapakita si direct variation? Diba? We have xy, x, and y. Okay? Ano ba ang value ng ating x doon sa una? We have 8. 8. Okay? Ayan, lagyan muna natin ng ganyan. And then, ano yung sunod na value ng x? 16. Tama? 16. Ayan. And ano yung value ng y? We have 16 dito. And ano naman yung value ng ating y na nakuha? We have 32. Ayan. So, as you can see from the definition itself of direct variation, when two quantities increases at the same time, di ba? Si x nag-i-increase siya, as well as si y nag-i-increase. At the same time, parehas silang dumadagdag. Tama? Or nag-i-increase. So, ganun lang kasimple ang ibig sabihin, or how are you going to solve for direct variation. So, for our next example in direct variation, we have if A varies directly as B and A is equal to 9, when b is equal to 3 over 2 or 3 half. Find a when b is equal to 1. Ayan. So, paano naman, ma'am, kapag nag-iba na yung variables? When we say variables, yung mga letters, kasi kanina, nasa YKX lang tayo. Ngayon, may pa A, B, A, B na. Ayan. So, syempre, palagi nyo lang tatandaan yung pinaka-formula natin. So, for the first step is to find K. Okay? So, we have A varies directly, ayan, varies directly as B. So, ganun lang kasimple maglagay sa formula. A varies directly as B. Okay? So, basta alam niyo yung pinaka formula natin, madali niyo na siyang ilalagay sa ganyan. Alright? So, we are going to find K using A is equal to 9 when B is equal to 3 over 2. Okay? So, si ating A is 9. Just substitute the value na ating mga variables. So, A is equal to 9 is equal to K. And ano ba ang ating B? 3 over 2. So, we have 3 over 2. Okay? So, the next step nga, di ba, na sinabi ko sa inyo is, of course, to cancel 3 over 2 by dividing both sides by 3 over 2. Kasi si 3 over 2 yung ating ika-cancel. So, we have to cancel it out. K na lang yung natira, no? And then, 9 over 3 over 2. Ayan. So, paano yan, ma'am? Ang dami naman ng over. And, kapag ganyan yung given, huwag kayong matakot, no? So, gagamit lang tayo ng reciprocal. Okay? Remember, ang ating fraction, division yan, di ba? So, therefore, sa rule of division ng fraction, kapag magdi-divide ka ng fraction, di ba? Para maging multiplication, babaliktarin mo yung next na given. Okay? So, we have 9. So, gawin natin siyang multiplication. Times 3 over 2. So, sa 3 over 2, babaliktarin lang natin yan. Gagawin natin yung 2/3. Okay? So, by that, pwede na tayong mag-multiply. Hindi na natin problema yung division. Alright? So, we have 9 times 2 is, of course, 18. Divided by 3 is equal to K. Okay? And then right after that, 18 divided by 3 is, of course, 6. So, therefore, K is equal to 6. So, ayan na yung ating K. Nahanap na natin siya using 9 and 3 over 2. So, na natin silang isali kasi tapos na sila, no? So, dito na tayo. Find A when B is equal to 1. Remember, the step 2 is to find the equation. Okay? So, gamitin ulit natin to, no? So, we have A. Ano ba ang ating K? Equal to 6B. Alright? So, ganun lang. And then now, find A when B is equal to 1. Okay? So, dahil nga hanapin pa natin si A, ibaba mo na yan. So, A is equal to 6. Ang ating B ay 1. Okay? So, we have A is equal to 6 times 1. Of course, A is equal to 6. Okay? Ganun lang kasimple. So, ayan. So, this is an example of a direct variation decreases at the same time. So, I forgot to mention the definition kanina, no? Again, ulitin ko, direct variation when two quantities increases at the same time or decreases at the same times. Ayan. So, hindi ko nasabi yung decreases kanina. So, ngayon nga, as you can see, we have 9. Ayan, lagay muna natin siya dito. 9. So, ayan, we have A as 9. And then, ang ating B ay 3 over 2. Or, kapag i-convert mo yan to decimal, it will be 1.5. Okay? And then, next natin na A is 6. And then, next na B is 1. And as you can see, si A is decreases, while si B decreases din from 1.5 to 1, 9 to 6. Tama? Okay, so next we are going to move on inverse variation. So, ano nga ba ang definition ng inverse variation? Balikan lang natin. When one decreases, the other increases. Or vice versa, when one increases, the other decreases. Okay? So, this is just the same process with direct variation. Medyo magkaiba lang kasi magkaiba na tayo ng formula na gagamitin, which is y varies inversely as x. Okay? So, for our example, we have y varies inversely as x. So, if y is equal to 8, when x is equal to 6, Find y when x is equal to 4. So the first step that we're going to do is, of course, to find k, or the constant of variation. So we are going to find k using y is equal to 8 when x is equal to 6, okay? So we have y as 8. Just substitute again the value, alright? So we have 8 is equal to k over ang x natin ay 6. Alright? So, next thing to do kapag varies inversely or inverse variation, we are not going to do the cancellation or dividing both sides by what we are going to eliminate. No? Just like the direct variation. So, dito sa inverse variation, we're just going to cross multiply. Assume lang natin na meron ditong 1. And 1 times k is of course k. Then 8 times 6 is of course 48. Then yan na yung ating k. Okay? So the next step is of course to find the equation, or we're going to create your equation. So from that, we have y, and the value of k is 48. Just substitute the value of k. 48 over x. Okay? And then now you are ready to find y when x is equal to 4. Alright? So we have y, ibaba mo na yan. Kasi siya yung hahanapin natin. And then 48, ayan, divided by 4. Okay? Since x is 4. And then we have 48 divided by 4 as 12. And then yan na. We have y is equal to 12. So, ganun lamang kasimple ang pagkuha ng inverse variation. And as you can see, 8 and 12 increases, di ba? And then, 6 and 4 decreases. Diba? 8, 12, 6, 4. Increases, decreases. And that is the definition of the inverse variation. Tama? Okay? So, ganun lamang kasimple. So, I guess that would be all for this video. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and I hope you have learned something. Like on how to solve the inverse and direct variation. Ayan. So, thank you so much everyone for all the support. And please continue to support Ma'am Mariel. Please follow me on TikTok and here on YouTube. Thank you so much everyone for watching. See you on my next video. God bless everyone.